Welcome to the Brand Doctor Podcast, strategies that help entrepreneurs build reputable and profitable brands. Here's your host, Henry Kaminski Jr.
I want to, first and foremost, welcome everybody to another Brand Doctor Podcast episode. I am again doing this via Facebook Live. So I want to invite all my Facebook guests and visitors to feel free to ask questions. We have an amazing guest today as I continue my female entrepreneurial showcase this week. I reached out to my Facebook community a couple days ago and asked them if there were any rock star female entrepreneurs out there that I could interview. And I just got inundated with a tremendous amount of opportunity. I mean, all of you guys have been amazing. I interviewed 3 of you guys already, and it's just one fascinating story after the other. So without further ado, I want to introduce Jennifer Goodwin or Jennifer Hall Goodwin.
Either one.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. So listen,
yes.
For those folks that do not know who you are, I would love to get a quick bio on you and tell us a little bit about your business. And then from there, I want to go into sort of your journey as an entrepreneur and how you've gotten to where you are today.
Okay, great. So my name is Jennifer Goodwin. Hall is actually a middle name. People think I've been married before, but it's just a family name that's a middle name. So Jennifer Hall Goodwin. And I am the founder of a digital agency called internetgirlfriday.com. And we do a lot of things that people know about, such as strategy and sales funnels and Facebook ads, and basically help other businesses with lead generation and a lot of their web assets that they need to have done to continue doing business.
Very cool. So how did you get started in this?
Well, I went to college for architectural drafting. And so that's a lot of AutoCAD and drawing houses and drawing buildings. And right out of that, about 6 months after I graduated and had been working for the man, working for engineers and architects, I thought, I cannot work for somebody else. I have to work for myself. So I opened a company called designerdrafting.com. I think I still own the domain from probably 1999 or something. And I started servicing the interior design and kitchen design industry and exhibited in a huge convention in Orlando back in the day, and realized that I was overwhelmed with leads, which was a great thing to have, but quickly figured out that I needed to figure out automation and scaling if I was going to not turn away those leads. And so I did that for about 4 or 5 years and had a great run with that. But then I got bored with CAD. You know, most entrepreneurs, we're creatives. We get bored easy. Once we figure something out, we have to move on to the next puzzle. So at that time, I had about 5 years of marketing and running a business online under my belt. And I realized an online business manager. So I rebranded into Internet Girl Friday.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So how are you? So let me ask you this.
Yep.
What was that itch that made you what was that underlying piece that was telling you you had to get out there and start your own thing?
I think partly it's born into you. I think it's part of your soul. Excuse me, if you're meant to be an entrepreneur. And also my dad was an entrepreneur. So I watched him from an early age working for someone else and then renting his own building to sell doors and windows, and then taking out a loan and building his own 7-figure empire, building his own building and starting his own business and then selling it off and doing something else. So I grew up with that. And that was pretty cool. But it was, I just feel like I'm in jail if I'm working for someone else. That's horrible to say. It works for a lot of people, but it felt like I was dying inside, like my soul couldn't breathe. And I had to create.
Yeah.
It had to come out of me.
I feel the same way. I mean, I'm the worst. I probably am the worst employee
I can't tell you how many times I've been fired. I always joke around that the IRS must have a room built just for me because I've changed jobs so many times in my life. I've been working since I was 13. I sold cars, flew planes, graduated the police academy. I tried it all, but it just working for someone else just wasn't for me.
That's a really dynamic background.
Yeah, I've done a lot. I've done catering, restaurant management, open bars in Vegas, you name it. I tried to do it for somebody else, but I just can't.
So what made you open the digital agency?
Well, like I said, I rebranded, and back then we didn't have all the social media we have. And so I worked my way through the ranks of being part of the PR team for Accenture and doing SEO and building websites from notepads and then Front Page and Dreamweaver. So, a lot has happened over the years where we've had to keep up with now social media and paid advertising and just all these facets of running a digital agency. And so I've had to keep up over the years. I did have an accident about 5.5, coming up on 6 years now, that took me out of the game. It was a motorcycle accident, so I was literally life flighted to the trauma center and was lucky to live. So I had 2.5 years off from running a business, lost all my clients, lost all my money, lost my sanity. 2.5 years to think about what had I done with my life and what had I not done, and what did I want to do different, and did I want to come back with a digital agency? Did I want to do the dollar for hour, hours for dollars trap and cycle? Did I want to deal with clients again? Did I want to be known as a sales funnel expert or a marketing expert or an agency owner? And so I had the luxury, I guess you could say, of 2.5 years to think about it before I came back 2 years ago. And there was a lot of clarity in there, a lot of, I realized what my mistakes were, what I could do better, and what I wanted to do differently.
And do you mind sharing with our audience what was some of that clarity?
Sure. I got a lot of nuggets from that. So a lot of lessons that, or a lot of the same lessons I bet we all hear is that as an entrepreneur, you need to work on one thing, and you don't really get it until you're trying to juggle 10 things and nothing is succeeding, and you're spread too thin, and you're wearing all 80 hours, you should be working 10. So I, like a lot of people, learn my lessons the hard way, unfortunately. And because I'm so creative and my inventor brain is so strong, I was always trying to do too many things. Run the digital agency, start the digital courses, run the membership, do a phone app, all the things that came to mind. I thought, let's do that. Well, let's put that into production. And that's not the right way to succeed at all. And so I knew coming back out 2 years ago, I had to be laser focused on one thing. If it was the agency, that might not mean one thing, because you could still handle 20 different industries, 20 different niches, 20 different services. You need to get really cookie cutter. If you want to be a Facebook ad specialist for real estate agents in Texas who are doing wholesale trailer flipping or whatever, that's what you need to stay in your lane and do that for a year until it's succeeding and bringing you the money where you can scale your team and then do something else. That was a big lesson, doing one thing and really understanding what one thing meant. It didn't mean one agency, that you still have to get more focused on that. Another lesson was the fear. Okay, as entrepreneurs, I think we all have fears, whether we admit it or not. Either a fear of sales, a fear of success, a fear of being good enough for the services we're providing to our clients. And my accident taught me there's not a lot to fear besides death. Nothing is as scary as almost dying. And so I was able to kick some of my fears butts and work through some things just by having that perspective and saying, you know what? I'm not going to die if I pick up and make 10 sales calls a day. I'm not going to die, and I'm actually going to make a lot more money. So those were two of the big ones for me.
I love it. So it's basically the trying to do too much and fearing that you're going to fail.
Mm-hmm. You are going to fail. And now I look at failure, it's a little exciting. I just wrapped up a project that I knew was going to fail, because every partner that wanted to kind of join forces with me, but was pretty fickle, and that's another lesson is who you partner with. But they dropped the ball. And I said, I'm not going to drop the ball. I'm going to tell the universe that I'm going to see it through to the finish line, and I know it's going to fail. And I didn't care that it was going to fail. And it failed right down to the last minute. And I said, that's okay. I saw it through. I learned some valuable lessons. I gathered more data. I have more funnels built. I learned who not to work with and to give my time and energy to. So failure is just one step closer to success. So failure doesn't scare me anymore.
Yeah, well, and I agree with that. And I have a little mantra in my head when I start to get a little wobbly kneed, when I start to think of things that may scare me, is I say, what's the worst thing that can happen?
Yeah.
Like what's and 9 times out of 10, it's not death, you know.
Exactly.
So, it's like, just get on with it, or get over yourself, or it's really not that big of a deal when you look at it big picture. It's funny. I had an interesting experience a couple hours ago where, people were, trying to nickel and dime on price a little bit. And I laughed, because when you look at the big picture, it was like dollars and cents. Like the couple $100 were like pennies compared to what we're going to do for this brand.
Right.
And when I gave her the perspective, like, hey, I get it that, this is a little bit expensive, but when you look at the big picture compared to the hundreds of $1,000s that you're going to make this year, when we get clear and we get focused and we really dial in, like, are you really going to worry about that $1,000?
Yeah.
Like,
Yep. When you show them how much they're going to make additional by the end of the year, puts it into perspective. Yep.
Exactly. And so, one of the things that I want to do is I want to sort of highlight your superpowers, if you will. So I want to take this part of the show and sort of dial in on that. And so one of the things that I ask a lot of my guests are, what are some things in the industry that you're serving right now that you see people struggling with day in and day out? And how are you, helping them get through that so they can be more productive, be more efficient, achieve more, so on and so forth?
Well, it comes down to one word for me, although I have many superpowers, or at least I'd like to think so. I'm really great with systems. And it could be systems. Obviously, we know that sales funnels and business automation are systems, but even the systems for managing projects or building a team or hiring a VA, I have a system for everything. That's just how my brain thinks. I think, okay, what's the most efficient way from A to Z? And boom, 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 my brain thinks of it. I implement it, build it, protocol it, screenshot it, and there's a system for that. And that's why I literally have a membership called Systems with Sisters, where I try and help women get from A to Z more quickly so they can make more money, because I'm so systems based. It's the same reason that I offer my agency up for white label, because I have all the systems, I have all the people, I have 20 years of doing this. Just tap into it. So of course, it applies to clients, because we're building them systems. We're building them bot systems and sales funnel systems and email systems, and that makes sense too. But it flows into the other areas as well. I love a good system. I'm organized at home, I'm organized in my computer, and I'm organized at work. So I think that's my top superpower.
I love it. So let's talk about it.
Okay.
So in order to build a well-oiled machine system, what does one need to do first, second, third?
First is strategy.
Okay.
So as I said, I have an architectural drafting degree. I think in blueprints. and I blueprint out someone's strategy, whether it's just a blueprint for a website or it's a blueprint for their whole online marketing campaign and business. I have to draw it first. You should not draw and build at the same time. And we've all done it. We've all sat down on a weekend with a great idea. We want to build out, and we're like, we're just going to log into WordPress or Weebly or whatever we're using. We're just going to build it as we think of it. And it never works out right. But if you took a piece of paper or a whiteboard or a lucid chart on your computer and you drew it out first, you would get clarity on all the moving parts, and then you go build it. So for me, phase 1 is always strategy, mapping, blueprinting. Phase 2 is building, and phase 3 is sending traffic to it, because hopefully you're monetizing what you're building.
Got it. So all right, let's break this down. So I have a business and I'm stuck, right? I hit the glass ceiling. Right. I have some processes in place and, I'm trying to take it to the next level. So how does one refine? What does one look at when it comes to refining a system?
You can look at the actual software that's running that system. You can look at, do you have too many moving parts? Can you eliminate some of the parts? Can you eliminate some of the costs? Can you eliminate some of the time it takes to manage those moving parts? Can you eliminate some team members? Because the more you can streamline and reduce your overhead, the more time and money you have to free up to actually scale. I wish we had a good example of something, but just looking at all the pieces, I can come in and simplify anything. People overcomplicate things, right? Because we have so many tools on the internet and there's so much flying at us every day. You need this new thing, and you need that bot, and am I going to put it in ManyChat? Am I going to put it in Chat Fuel? Is it going to use the Facebook bot? There's so many moving parts. It can't hurt to hire someone external, whether it's a coach, whether you're stuck there, or whether it's a business automation person that can look at it to simplify things. It's another lesson you learn as you graduate through the ranks of being in internet marketing is don't try and do it all yourself. I think you posted something or sent me an email recently about outsourcing what you're not good at. And, you have to let your ego go, and you have to be able to surround yourself with people that can help you see these things if you can't see them yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I ran into a really good quote the other day. I was actually, one of my mentors, he is a Emmy, is it Emmy? No, a Grammy award winning or Emmy award winning designer. He actually created some music videos for Chris Martin. And Gnarls Barkley and CeeLo and all those guys. And he was interviewing somebody, and he shot me the video. And this particular woman, she was actually responsible for the rebrand of the Today Show, TBS. And she was one of the co-founders of Pinkberry, the yogurt. And one of the things she said was, if you're not good at doing something, find somebody that is.
Yeah.
There's always a way. And that to me just was like the answer. It was the key. It was, if you can't figure it out yourself, or if it's not a good use of your time, sub it out.
Yeah. Or if it's making knots in your stomach, that's the universe telling you this isn't where your focus should be. I mean, I've got my sales partner sitting next to me because I suck at sales. I don't want to get on the phone, and I don't suck at it because I'm not capable. I don't like it. Therefore, I'm going to suck at it. So
that's it. Yeah, no, that's it. I love your attitude towards it. I've done that too. And then what I said to myself one day, I said, I really need to be more sharper with my sales ability, not even for business, but in life. I'm constantly selling my wife something. And so it's always good to sharpen that up, but I get it. And there's a lot of things that I don't want to do, like video production. I know.
That's another one.
Right? I know what looks fantastic, but that's why I have Stretch. And Stretch is my guy. We go and we shoot, and I just like, Stretch, you know what I want? Just make it happen. And
Right.
a couple days later, we have these like masterpieces. And
well, you know what's so great, and almost I'm so envious of people entering the internet right now. The resources they have now, I mean, just with Fiverr, you can get so much done now that we couldn't do 5, 10, 15 years ago. Everything was manual. Everything took 10 times longer. I mean, during my accident, ClickFunnels was invented.
Yeah. Yeah.
I came back and I was like, life is going to be so much easier this time.
Yeah, right. And now it like shaved years off of your life.
Yes.
So
yes.
there's really the point of this is there's really no excuse.
No, there's no, well, first of all, you need to know if you're really cut out to be an entrepreneur. It's not for the faint of heart. You will cry, you will scream, you will be broke sometimes, you will go through everything. Unless you're just very lucky few people, just like the people that win the lottery. But, and then you're going to a digital agency. That's even more tough than just being a consultant or just being a graphic designer. If you're going to take that route, I think you should investigate it seriously and talk to people that have been there and done that, because although it sounds really sexy, and it can be sometimes, it's not for everybody.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that I'm a big proponent of is, you can be passionate about something, but if nobody's willing to pay you for that passion, then I would keep that as a hobby and go figure out another problem you can solve, because that's the key to actually making your passion your paycheck. And
there's a difference between a real legal, paying taxes, LLC, the whole 9 yards, and a paid hobby. And I have both. There's hobbies I have that pay me money. But you really need to know the difference. And although it's true you have to have passion for things you do, you don't automatically just have to monetize your passion. We all have to have a job to live on the planet. We all have to contribute to society. So you still have to work, right? I mean, unless you're royalty, you still have to work. So
that's where
you got to find that fine balance between working and enjoying your life. You got to find that balance.
Yeah, and I feel like if I didn't have work, I would be totally getting myself in trouble. Like, work grounds me. I swear to God. Like,
yes.
So I totally get it. Now, let me backtrack a little bit. I want to keep track of time. I don't want to open up another can of worms, but
sure.
I think one of the things that a lot of people struggle with, I struggled with it when I was building out my systems for my business, was I wasn't quite sure like how to start. Like you said, strategy and sort of mapping it all out. But I feel like we all skip that part. It's like, let's just get to the fun stuff.
Right.
So
People start with a website usually and then come to you and say, okay, I'm ready to go.
Right.
Like, okay, but you might not have even needed a website. The way I explain it in the most simple form to the newest beginner is, one of your goals, if you're going to work on the internet, is to have a tribe or an audience. Let's be even more clear, a database of people that you can continuously sell to or promote to. So your database, to keep it simple, can be an email database, it can be a cell phone texting database, and now it can be a Facebook bot database. Just to name the three most common, or a Facebook group, I guess you could consider, but you don't really have full control of the database. And so if you think of your first task to be to start and grow your database of people, of consumers, then your very first step, in my mind, at least for a beginner virtual assistant, or to just get your feet wet on the internet, is to create a lead magnet, a freebie, something of value that you are good at, that you can package up and give away in something as simple as a 2-step opt-in, an email opt-in form. Just that simple. And to a lot of us, we're like, well, duh, but there's a lot of people that are just starting out. Something you can give away in exchange for an email address. If you focus on that first, if I had focused on that 15 years ago, I wouldn't even be, it's just, I wouldn't even be working anymore. And I knew to do that. I was doing that for my customers and for some big people that were getting started back in the day. And if I had done that for myself back then, my tribe would be massive right now. Yeah. So they got to wrap their heads around starting your tribe early. Everything you do before you build your website, create your lead magnet, create something that you can give away and start getting names for and start building your audience. Start with 10 people and 50 people and 500 people. And I promise you it will pay off in the long run, so that if you stop doing one service, you want to offer another service, or maybe you want to jump into affiliate marketing, whatever you're talking about, your audience goes with you.
And I want to add to that. Because I feel, and I'm going to play a little devil's advocate here. I feel like that strategy, yes, the foundation of that strategy is on point. Like you got to build the audience. You need an audience. You don't have an audience, you don't have a business, period. Right. However, I feel like it's 2018 now. People are getting a little savvy to the free web training reveals and the download this to get this. And people are just becoming a lot more aware of they're going to call it a trap or clickbait, right? Mm-hmm. We're going to call it a lead magnet. And, that's where we're always going to battle. So what I want to, I agree with what you're saying. Mm-hmm. What I want to instruct the audience or kind of add to what you're saying is, make sure that you do your homework on your audience and you actually provide a lead magnet that's freaking somebody's going to want, right?
Right. Yes.
And if you can solve a problem,
the problem. Yep. Right,
that's what you put in that lead magnet, and that's what's going to get people interested. What I'm seeing
the question last week, one of our new forms asked a question, and the lady that filled out the form put 3 pain points, which I was like, that's 3 new lead magnets. She just nailed 3 new lead magnets, because those are the pain points that keep coming up for this new audience. That's it. We're going to put that in their hands.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And when you survey your audience and you really find out what it is that they're searching for, it's really easy to put together that lead magnet. Now we have we have a Facebook viewer that is asking a question. So Jana DeArmond Menina says, when you're getting started and you want and need to sub out, what do you think the best way to finance that work? What is the number you think is necessary? Branding, website, funnels, ad space, technology, camera, database, assistant, etc. There's so much to pay for. So is there a system you recommend to allocate the funding and or a priority list? Or don't start until you're flush with money? Thoughts?
Well, I run a Lien Agency. I show people in my membership how I run. Now, of course, I have a couple advanced softwares that most people don't need, but I can run the majority of my systems for $60 a month. Funnels. Okay. People that don't know click pricing, $97, $297. There's some other things in there, but for a beginner to run their business, and I always use virtual as an example because that's where I got my start years ago. Their calendar, their email, their Google Drive, their project system. You can do that pretty lean these days. Canva for your graphic design. These are mostly free systems. And I would say, and this is just the mentor in me and kind of, the tough love. If you're not willing to pick up the phone and make some sales, you shouldn't be willing to spend money on your business that you don't need yet. So you have to, I mean, I don't know what she's buying, what business she's in, what her business plan is. That should all be probably mapped out first in a business plan. So you know what it is, whether you're going to get an investor, get a loan, or just start hustling to pay for it. But don't buy everything you see. There's usually a free version of everything online. I always go lean, and I even share software with my partners, especially with LastPass. You don't have to hand out your passwords. If I've got 10 partners in all different areas, we're going to share some of the software that we all use. So there's always a way to go lean in your business.
Yeah, I agree with going lean and mean. I mean, I went lean and mean when I first started my business, but there's one thing that I probably would have done knowing what I know now.
Right.
And so I want to add to what you were saying. In my opinion, you have one shot to make a great first impression. And when I see people trying to take the do-it-yourself route and build this thing and build this business out and build this brand out, they always have to wind up coming back and redoing it all and spending a shit ton of more money. Where had they come out of the gate right, it would have saved them a lot of time, money, aggravation, mistakes, the whole nine, right? So I would say this to Jana or Jana. I would say if you don't have any experience starting a business from scratch, first and foremost, find somebody in your niche that has the same business that you are looking to start, right? Because success leaves clues. If there's one thing that Tony Robbins always says is success leaves clues. And so, man, I spent the last 4.5 years or so hiring this guy and that guy and this woman and that woman. And I realized that I've learned a lot from them. However, had I found the mentor that I have now 5 years ago, I probably would have been 15 chapters ahead. Why do I say that? It's because he runs an agency exactly the way I do. The only difference is his is brick and mortar. I'm more virtual, but the parts are all the same. And it's a multi-million dollar agency. He's been in the game 22, 23 years. I've been in the game 10 and a half. So if there's anybody that made all the mistakes, potentially, in my vertical, it's him.
Right.
And so I would invest in him first because he's going to unravel years of trial and error, years of systematically trying to put things together and testing them to see whether or not they work. Here's a guy that has a multi-million dollar agency and has all those systems in place. Why would I not just go to him and say, and if he's willing to do it, all right, that's the $1 question, right? Are you willing to mentor someone? Well, I don't know about you, but I'm only on this planet for a short period of time. Okay. So I want to make as much impact as I possibly can. So if somebody came to me, and it's crazy because I'm getting a whole different user profile that's attracted to me at this moment. And it's other designers, other freelance designers, right? And I said to myself, am I breeding the competition here by consulting with them and giving them all my secrets? Or am I doing them and saving them a ton of money and time? And I said to myself, listen, there's only one Henry Kaminski. There's only one brand doctor. There's only one Unique Designz. It opens up a whole nother opportunity and revenue stream for me and an ability to help people that I was afraid of in the beginning. And now I'm like, bring it on. And so that's my mentality. And I think that's my mentor's mentality too, because he wants to disrupt the design industry and he's not laying down anytime soon and he's going to make it happen. And so Jana asks, did you know him first or just reached out? Honestly, Jana, I found him on YouTube. I started consuming all of his content. I went to his website. He had a couple things that I bought. And then I said, you know what? I see consulting here and it wasn't cheap by any means. And I was like, you know what? I want to shave a couple years of trial and error off of my life. So I'm going to double down on him. And let me tell you, I think much differently now. I respond to clients much differently now. And like, I'm so far ahead just from the 2 months of working with him, and we got a whole year to go. Yep. So, you know, I
agree.
Yeah, I would totally see if there's an opportunity there to go and start there first, because there's so much information out there that it's very easy to get overwhelmed and start buying everything in sight. And
yep, I totally agree. It's very distracting, and there are people out there that are doing it right. Just make sure you find the one. You know, I just, with my business partner, we had a call this morning and yesterday that we're hiring someone to just set something up for us. We don't need to learn it. We just know it's working, and we want to replicate it. So absolutely agree. That usually comes with years of experience with the failures. And if someone can find the money, and if they want it bad enough, they should absolutely fast track right with the mentor.
Yeah, and I think that's the way to the top the quickest. I remember Russell Brunson, when he was mentoring me, he said there's 2 ways to get up there: doing it on your own or buying your way up there. And I said, I'm buying my way up there. Which
is hard for people. It's hard for new people to wrap their head around that, because they're very idealistic and, you know, egotistical in a good way. We want to do it ourselves, and we want our name on it, and we don't want to clone somebody else and not be authentic. We haven't heard that word enough. So it's hard for people to say, you know, understand why they should do that. But there shouldn't be any problem with hiring a business coach. You hire a trainer at the gym to get you somewhere faster. You could YouTube the exercises, but no, it's absolutely the most successful people that I know have all had coaches and mentors.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's the way to the top the quickest. And last but not least, I think what you really need to pay attention to is their track record. Like, why did you choose them as a mentor? Right? What makes them such a great mentor? Right? And when I look back, I say to myself, I might have hired some people that maybe I should have questioned a little bit further or deeper, right? Mm-hmm. And so I challenge you guys today to challenge that person before you hire them. And not that they have to prove anything to you, but you got to feel comfortable with them.
You got to feel right about it. And you'll know in your gut, you know, when you're talking to someone that probably doesn't deserve to be in your life, you know, in your personal life, you know that feeling. And it's the same in business. You should feel good about it.
Absolutely. And the way I sort of determine that is obviously their consistency. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is the questions that they ask me. That tells me a lot about their experience, you know? So those are just 2 little tips, but I want to be able to wrap this up in a tight little bow here. So I want to share with you guys a little bit of the takeaways that I got from Jennifer today. And if I missed anything, Jennifer, fill it in, please. So one of the things that you mentioned up in the beginning was trying to take on too many things at once, and understanding that that's just absolutely impossible. If you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you need to be able to delegate and really focus in on your strengths, your superpowers, and which brings me to the next step, no fear when it comes to just getting out there and doing it. Because at the end of the day, it's really not that scary. And what's the worst that can happen, right? Mm-hmm. You get back up and you try it again. Yep. And then the other thing, which is your superpower, is the systematic approach to building a business. Having a process and a system in place for everything that you do, every step of the way, in every department, so that you're able to scale. Because there's only so much you're going to be able to do until you hit the glass ceiling, and now you're like, shit, now what?
Yep. And I remember when I was on Park Ave temping at some point in my entrepreneurial journey, I asked a female angel investor, what do you look for when you're investing in a business? And she said, the only businesses that we will invest in are ones that are so systematized that if any one person died tomorrow, any one employee or owner or manager died tomorrow, the business would still run as smoothly as it did the day before, because the business is not dependent on a human. And I kept that in mind.
That's powerful. That's powerful. So if you don't have systems in place in your business, now's the time to start thinking.
You have a job and not a business.
Right? And doing your research, understanding, and then we touched upon some of the, attraction marketing stuff, like, creating some sort of offer that's going to generate an audience. But in order to do that, you must understand your audience and must understand that you have to solve a problem in order to get them interested. And if you're not talking to a specific pain point, they're probably going to dial you out.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it's about us. Like, we only care about us. And it is what it is, but it's the truth. And so if you know all about your audience, you're going to be able to pinpoint exactly the 4 or 5 or 6 things that they're looking for all day long.
Right.
Pat Flynn said something yesterday that I just love. He said, he was talking about online courses, and he goes, nobody wakes up one day and before they take their head off the pillow, go, you know what? I feel like buying an online course today. Like, nobody wants to buy online courses. But I'll tell you what, I'll buy an online course today if it's going to save me 5 years of pain and testing and mistake.
Right.
Right. So that's the point that I'm trying to make here, guys. And this is what Jennifer's trying to say too. It's just create that system to make everything flow seamlessly, flow smoother. Because again, success leaves clues. There's people out there that are successful in what it is that you're doing right now, or what you're trying to do right now. And so you want to model them. You don't want to copy. You don't want to steal. You want to make it your own. You want to make it unique and differentiate yourself. But look at how and why. Like last year, I spent a lot of time studying Gary Vaynerchuk. He's probably one of the best personal brands I've ever come across. And I was understanding why he was doing certain things. And then I looked at how he was doing them. And then I said, okay, let me put the Unique Designz spin on that, because I could see that has a great return on investment. And so when he started gamifying social media, and he started the 60-second club, and he started all these different little quirky things on the internet, Biz Dev Sundays, it was like, okay, he's engaging his audience. So that's the biggest takeaway. So he's getting an amazingly engaged audience. So that is what we need to do. We need to start engaging more. And
right, because, this question I always hated when people say, who's your ideal client? People that pay me money. Well, people aren't going to, your ideal client isn't going to become a client if you don't solve their problems. So you got to figure out what they need, what they want, what they need, then you got to put it in front of them the right way.
That's it. And then when that happens, that's where you see magic. I mean, and it's really not magic at all, right? It
gets exciting when you can learn how to dial into those little nuances, and then marketing gets exciting.
It's funny you say that, because I totally agree, and it makes life so much easier. Instead of focusing on the next shiny object you want to buy, start focusing in on your audience and the people that you want to help, and understanding them. And then when I tell you, when it comes to marketing and it comes to branding and it comes to trying to connect with them, it's a piece of cake.
Everything falls into place when you identify those things. I mean, it's like, oh, well, now I know what my lead magnet is. I know what my website header is going to be. I know what my next Facebook Live is about, my blog post and my YouTube video. It all falls into place.
It all falls into. Scott Carson says here on Facebook, be a problem solver. That adds value. Amen to that. So totally. So real quick, guys, we want to wrap up. Jennifer, where can people find out more about you?
My umbrella website, which holds links to my other websites and social media, is jenniferhgoodwin.com. And you can find my agency there. You can find my white label, link to my membership, and some information about sponsoring a veteran if you want to help them start their business.
Awesome. Jennifer, I can't thank you enough for taking the 45 minutes, almost an hour. We almost went an hour.
Oh, wow. That went fast.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Today, it was a pleasure meeting you. It was a pleasure hearing your insight and your ups and downs in entrepreneurship, which were extremely valuable to me and my audience. I'm taking notes here. So again, I wish you the best of luck in the future, and maybe we'll have you back maybe towards the end of the year and kind of see where you're at then, and hear about the progress.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
You got it. Well, there you have it, guys. Another Brand Doctor podcast episode in the books. This is episode 133. I can't believe I did 133 episodes in like 3-4 months. It's crazy. But real quick, if you haven't signed up and become part of the Brand Doctors Hangout Facebook group over on Facebook, go and check that out right now. And if you haven't subscribed to this podcast channel yet, please do. If you haven't shared it with a friend or a colleague, I thank you in advance for that. And I will continue to bring you heat and bring you strategies to help you build your brand and help you live a happier life and get you better clients and just keep just have a business that rocks. So have an awesome day, guys, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Talk soon.
You've been listening to the Brand Doctor Podcast with Henry Kaminski Jr. To get your appointment with the doctor, visit Brand Audit at www.uniquedesignz.net.